Imagine teaching 3 different dogs to retrieve a ball. The first learns by watching you hold up a ball and say ball until it makes the connection. The second is left in a playroom, grouping toys by shape and color on its own. The third explores a maze, receiving a treat for every step closer to the exit. These dogs represent the core pillars of artificial intelligence: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. They are the engines behind your spam filter, shopping recommendations, and game-playing champions. In this video, we will break down how these 3 paradigms work, see how they differ, and explore their real-world applications so you can understand them with a completely new perspective. Artificial intelligence shapes our daily lives behind the scenes every time we open an app, search the web, or receive a recommendation. But machine learning is not a single, uniform method. It is a diverse collection of approaches. The 3 main paradigms, supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning, approach data in fundamentally different ways. Understanding these differences is crucial, whether you are an aspiring developer, a business leader, or simply curious about technology. Today, we will demystify these categories. We will examine how they differ in their data requirements, goals, and feedback mechanisms, showing you exactly how modern machines learn. Supervised learning is the most common paradigm, functioning like a student learning under the guidance of a teacher. The hallmark of this approach is labeled data. For every input we feed into our algorithm, we also provide the correct output, or label. The machine analyzes these pairs to find the mathematical patterns connecting them, creating a general mapping rule. Once learned, the model applies this rule to brand new, unseen inputs to predict their labels. Supervised learning tasks fall into 2 categories: classification and regression. In classification, the label is a category, like identifying whether an email is spam or legitimate. In regression, the label is a continuous numerical value, such as predicting a house price based on its size and location. Classification answers what class does this belong to, while regression answers how much or how many. Every time you check your email, a supervised classifier keeps your inbox clean. Many spam filters use naive Bayes, which calculates the probability that an email is spam based on the words it contains. To see how this works, we look at Bayes' theorem. The probability of spam given word equals the probability of word given spam times the probability of spam, divided by the probability of word. Here, P of spam given word is the probability that an email is spam if it contains a word like buy. P of word given spam is the frequency of buy in known spam. P of spam is the baseline spam probability, and P of word is the general probability of buy in any email. If half of your emails are spam, P of spam is 0, 50. If buy appears in 60% of spam, P of word given spam equals 0. 60 and 40% of all emails, P of word equals 0. 40, we multiply 0, 60 by 0, 50 to get 0, 30 and divide by 0, 40. This yields 0. 75, meaning there is a 75% chance the email is spam, allowing the filter to block it. By multiplying the baseline probability of spam by the individual probabilities of each word appearing in spam, the classifier assigns a final score to route the message to the correct folder. Without a teacher, unsupervised learning is like exploring an unfamiliar city without a map. Here, we feed the algorithm unlabeled data, meaning there are no predefined categories or correct answers. The machine must investigate the raw data, analyze its features, and discover hidden structures or patterns on its own. Instead of predicting labels, it describes the data's organization. The primary task is clustering, grouping data points based on mathematical similarity. Other tasks include association, which finds hidden relationships between variables, and dimensionality reduction, which simplifies complex datasets by removing redundant features while keeping the essential structure. Imagine a store owner who wants to understand their customers. They have data on purchase frequency and spending, but no predefined labels. An unsupervised algorithm called k-means clustering can solve this. The algorithm randomly places markers, called centroids, in the data space. It assigns each customer to the nearest centroid, calculates the group's average center, and moves the centroid there. Repeating this process groups the data points into clusters. For instance, association rules can reveal that retail customers who buy diapers often buy baby wipes at the same time, allowing stores to place these items near each other. The owner might discover three groups: high-spending VIPs, high-frequency bargain hunters, and low-frequency occasional shoppers. The algorithm grouped these customers entirely based on similarity, revealing a business structure that was previously invisible. Reinforcement learning trains machines through trial, error, and feedback, mirroring how living creatures learn. In this paradigm, we do not provide a dataset. Instead, we place an autonomous program, called an agent, into an interactive environment. The agent observes the current state, takes an action, and receives feedback in the form of a numerical reward or penalty. Its goal is to learn a policy, a decision-making strategy that maximizes its cumulative reward over time. A key challenge is the trade-off between exploration and exploitation. The agent must constantly choose between exploiting known actions for immediate reward and exploring unknown actions for potentially higher future payoffs. This interactive process allows agents to master games like chess, where the board is the environment, piece positions represent the state, moves are actions, and winning provides a positive reward. Agents often use Q-learning to update the estimated value, or Q-value, of taking an action in a given state. New Q of S and A equals the quantity 1 minus alpha times Q of S and A, plus alpha times the quantity reward plus gamma times max Q of S prime and A prime. Here, new Q is the updated value, Q is the old value, alpha is the learning rate, reward is the feedback, gamma is the discount factor for future rewards, and max Q is the maximum future reward in the next state S prime. The discount factor, gamma, controls the agent's foresight. A value near 0 makes it prioritize immediate gains, while a value near 1 makes it focus on long-term rewards. Now that we have explored all three paradigms, let us compare them side by side to understand when to use each one. The choice of paradigm depends entirely on what kind of data you have, how you receive feedback, and what problem you are trying to solve. Supervised learning requires expensive human labeling, but offers highly predictable classification and forecasting. Unsupervised learning requires no labels, making it cheap to run, but its results can be difficult to interpret since the machine defines the categories. Reinforcement learning requires no pre-existing data, but needs a simulation environment where the agent can make thousands of mistakes safely to learn a policy. In short, supervised learning predicts, unsupervised learning groups, and reinforcement learning decides. Here is a comparison of the key dimensions of these three approaches. According to Tom Mitchell's classic book, Machine Learning, a comparison of these three paradigms highlights their distinct data types, goals, feedback mechanisms, key tasks, and real-world examples. Specifically, supervised learning uses labeled training data to map inputs to outputs, providing direct feedback via correct labels for tasks like classification and regression, as seen in spam filters. Unsupervised learning, on the other hand, works with unlabeled data to find hidden structures, receiving no feedback for tasks like clustering and association, illustrated by customer segmentation. Finally, reinforcement learning operates with no initial training data to maximize rewards through delayed feedback in decision-making tasks, which is how we train game-playing agents. In the real world, these three paradigms are increasingly combined to build the most advanced artificial intelligence systems. For instance, self-driving cars use supervised learning to detect pedestrians, unsupervised learning to map environments, and reinforcement learning to decide when to accelerate or steer. Even AlphaGo began by studying human moves before refining its play through self-directed games. As the field evolves, the lines between these paradigms are blurring, leading to hybrid systems that learn faster and require less human intervention. Which of these paradigms do you find most interesting? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the science and technology shaping our future. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.